is Marcielle Brandler with Marcielle Presents. And I have a wonderful guest. He's the sweetest person, and he has so much love in his heart. And in fact, his book is about love. His name is Bruce Thompson. Welcome, Bruce. It's so great to see you.
It's great to be here, Marcielle. Thank you.
Bruce was one of my students from, wow, I don't know, a couple years ago or something.
2008.
2008.
And I failed your class.
And you did not?
Yeah, I did.
You failed my class?
Yeah.
And he still likes me. Wow. I don't remember that.
Yeah, because of attendance. Remember?
Attendance.
Yeah,
because you're way too smart not to.
My roommate got in a car accident, so I had to help him, and I couldn't finish,
Oh, okay.
So.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I just remembered you as an A student. I don't know. But Bruce is just an amazing young man. I mean, it is just I feel so blessed to have you here. And I just want to tell the audience a little bit about you. There is a young woman who had you on her radio show on Blog Talk Radio, and her name is Mary Torres, and this is what she says about Bruce. Bruce L. Thompson Jr. is a masterful intuitive who wrote a book called The Handbook of Love to encourage the world to love more. He will be sharing his extraordinary journey of counseling thousands of individuals to find, share, and express love with all the other beautiful people on this planet. And that's what this book, Handbook of Love, talks about, is how to love, basically. It teaches us how to be more loving. And I really like what you said. The book is there to inspire your own thinking about love. I thought that was a really cool thing that you told me. The book is there to inspire your own thinking about love. Could you expand on that, what you mean by that?
Well, what I find is that it brings clarity to your own love life. So it sort of sets a foundation or a template, if you will.
Yeah.
But only you can get your own personal revelation about love.
Yes.
As an individual. So it just kind of sets up the stage and gets you thinking, it brings clarity, and then people just come up with their own, quotes and insights about love.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it fulfills its purpose as a guide.
As a guide.
Yeah, so that's really what I mean by guiding.
I see.
Yeah.
And can we see the book? We do have a close-up of the Handbook of Love, the book cover. The Handbook of Love, a guide to your love life. And the secret is out and love is in. The Handbook of Love is a new and exciting book that captures and reveals the many dimensions, colors, and depths of love. And let me just ask you, what inspired you to write a book called The Handbook of Love? You're so young. How would you know about love?
Well, I am 40.
Okay, you're not that young.
Actually, I was just, doing my usual spiritual discipline and prayer and meditation, and I was walking to my door, and I just felt this strong impression. It just came over me, just very clearly, take everything you've learned about love and write a book about it.
Oh, wonderful.
And so I got home, went inside my door, and got on my laptop and just started, and it just literally flooded. It just poured out of me.
Wow.
And every experience that I've had in every relationship, everything just started making sense.
Oh.
And I have it in my book. When you understand love, everything else makes sense.
Falls into place.
So
and all those breakups, all the heartbreak, all the whatever.
And counseling people. I've counseled married people, single people from all walks of life in their, business, career, relationships. And what I realized that most of it is a love issue.
Yes.
People are confused about love and their responsibility in relationships.
And is it just romantic love, or is it love among friends?
No, this book is about love in every aspect of life.
Every aspect.
Because I believe it affects your business, it affects your family, it affects everything.
Everything, yeah. Because if you're not doing your job with love, I was just listening to the guy who created Def Jam, Russell, I forget his last name, Simmons, thank you. And he was saying that even, like in Taiwan, the people are picking up the trash. And he said, but they're doing it with love and focus and honor. And I think it's really important for us to realize no matter what job we're doing, we live in the present and we are giving respect to that, and because it's respecting ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really, this world was created by love. I believe that.
Yeah.
And so love is in the atmosphere.
Yes.
So what you need is that creative word to ignite it,
Yes.
to really bring that revelation and cause it to manifest in our lives. And I believe that's part of what my book does.
And love is an organizing principle where hatred and anger create chaos and confusion and destruction.
Yeah.
Love organizes and calms and shapes things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you understand love, then you can speak the right things. You know, one of my chapters, Love is the Revolution. I believe a revolution starts with radical words.
Wow.
It starts with words.
Yeah.
And so speaking the right words, it's everything.
Yes.
It can change everything in your situation and circumstance. So my goal is to revolutionize the words, I love you.
Wow. That's very cool.
And in my book, it's not really, those phrases are not mentioned, I love you. But yet the book teaches you what that means.
And a lot of times too, when somebody says, I love you, it's, I want something from you, you know, so now I love you, so you owe me. And I think it's hard, or if I say I love you, then you better say it back. And it's really hard to navigate that and to rise above those petty kinds of immature feelings.
Yeah. Well, I think a pure lover is somebody who, you know, learns that the best way to receive love is by giving it.
Yes.
And so you're not looking for reciprocation.
Right.
When you really come to a point where you become a pure lover, you're not looking for that. But yet it comes back to you in so many different ways. It may not come back from the one you're trying to love, but that's okay.
That's right.
You know, and that's where we have to, the point we have to get over ourselves.
And that's, it took me a while to learn that, because I was publishing my one of my books, and my best friend, I was sending out cards asking people for money to help me publish my book, and then they would be thanked. And my absolute best friend, you know, she said no for that part of it, and I got real hurt. Now looking back on it, I realized I shouldn't have expected. You know, it was like I was expecting her to behave in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's not about that. Where I wasn't, the other friends, it didn't matter. You know, I'd send out postcards to them, and if they responded, great. If they didn't, and I didn't blame them, but she had that pressure on her from me. And it was about, you know, okay, you better perform in the way I think you should, because you are under this label as my friend or whatever.
Well, I think that, you know, the mature pure love is you allow people to be who they are in their faults or weaknesses, and you're not judging them. You have no expectations from them.
Yeah.
And that
it's
allows
like it's
them,
all good.
and that creates the atmosphere for them to grow in love.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Because really, all you need is just a little bit of love. You don't need a whole lot, but if you have a little bit, you can work with it.
Yeah. Well, and
know?
I'm working with that with some of my students, because I'm expecting them to do well, and I'm putting expectation on them, and they're not. Some of them, there's a whole class load of students who are not doing well. They're a lower level learning, you know, thing, and so I walk in the room and I get irritated if I don't see they're trying.
Yeah.
It makes me mad. And so I keep writing myself notes. Do not be married to the outcome. Do not be expecting a result. Just give what you have to give and allow them to be who they are.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what love does. And you have to speak love, speak encouragement. You have to sort of speak things that aren't there, you know, to bring things into existence.
Exactly.
You
and
know?
that's a hard thing to do sometimes.
And there's something about love that when you get in that certain realm, you have a certain insight. And you're able to see beyond people's circumstance and situations, and seeing who they really are, and speaking to that.
Exactly.
And things will start changing, and they'll start moving in the right direction.
That's right. And I'm still learning that after all these years.
Yeah, we're all learning.
And in your piece called Love is the Connection, the correction, and I love that, correction. Love is the correction. You say life's correction is love's rebuke. Wow. Life's correction is love's rebuke. That's heavy.
I know, huh?
You gotta think on that.
Yeah, that's a revelation.
For you, let me ask you, what does that mean?
Well, it means several things. I think, you know, the circumstances in our lives, I believe that it all points to one thing: for us to grow in what we were created to do, and that is to love. And so sometimes circumstances, actually most of the time, negative circumstances are there to correct us in love. Because most of the time, in the situations we're in, our circumstances can be solved by love. They're either caused by lack of love, you know, from either party or whatever you're involved in. And so if you understand that, then all of a sudden love is shouting in your ear. It becomes, You know,
So
it's
maybe
rebuking
like
you,
for
it's
my
correcting you.
students, the universe is correcting me and saying, you're expecting an outcome, maybe because of my ego, maybe because whatever, you know, it's my job, and I want to feel good that my students are succeeding and that it was because of me, maybe, and maybe that's my correction. The universe, love, is correcting me.
Exactly. You got it.
Yikes. I have been corrected. Okay.
And I think it's just so
Wow.
awesome if many people don't have the ability to interpret their circumstances. They don't know why things are happening to them. But I guarantee you, if you get down to the bottom of it, it has to do with love.
And I think that's why stillness and meditation and prayer, you know, it says in the Bible, go into your closet, you know, meaning go off by yourself. And a lot of the yogis, they just tell you, you know, just spend that time in meditation, and then the answers will come. And sometimes they come unexpectedly.
Yes.
I mean, the law of relativity, you know, all these great discoveries usually happen when the person was at rest and wasn't thinking about anything, and suddenly, oh, you know, they put in the work, but then it came in a moment
You definitely
of
have to
peace.
put yourself in the position to hear and see.
Yeah,
And
you really do.
that love kind of stabilizes you and keeps you in that place.
Yes,
you know?
it really does. And this is a really heavy question, but how can a person get love?
You know, to me, it's not that complicated. I think that love, people complicate love because of self-centeredness, because they think love is all about me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I counsel people in relationships, the complication is they're too focused on themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's real simple. If you want love, learn how to become a lover. Learn how to give love.
Love.
Sow seeds of love. Change your way of thinking and your position in those relationships.
Look outward. What can I do for you? How can I love you?
Exactly.
And not, you know, what am I going to get out of it?
Exactly.
And then I think, and there's a wonderful book called Born to be Good that talks about this. In the giving, you are receiving, because now they've done research where your serotonin levels, when you do something kind for another person, their serotonin levels and yours go up. And when somebody tells another person about a good deed, the people telling and the person hearing, their serotonin levels go up.
Yeah.
So there's this pleasure center where it's like in our nature to love.
Oh, definitely. I believe that with all my heart.
Yeah,
It is.
I do too.
And so love is not self-centeredness.
No.
It's real simple. I mean, it sounds like a generic thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't really understand that, have that breakthrough in your understanding, then you're continue to be stuck.
Yeah.
You know.
And you resist it.
And also, love, you have to believe in it.
Yes.
In other words, if I'm going to do good for you and you don't return it, I have to believe that it's going to come back to me someday.
Yeah, on
You know
some
what I mean?
level.
You have to believe.
And it won't be me,
Exactly.
you know, necessarily. That's my, and that
Exactly.
was my problem with my friend. I wanted it from her.
Yes.
And it was funny because she didn't give me the $20, but some guy that I had just met, that now is a dear friend of mine, he gave me $200.
Yeah.
And I had just met him.
Yeah.
So here I was looking over here at this closed door and not appreciating the open door over here.
Yeah.
And also not loving her. Because in a way I wasn't respecting her, if you really get down to it. I wasn't loving her.
Right.
You know. And so so you're saying how you can get love is just give love and not be so concerned about what I get from it.
Exactly.
That it's recorded in your cells.
Yeah.
It's there.
And it actually, when you start practicing it, you know, for a long time I was in loveless relationships, I call them, where I was loving people, but they weren't loving me back. And I really was perplexed.